Hey guys, Worm here, and today I have a tank review on the LT-432, which just appeared in the in-game shop for World of Tanks. And there's actually 4 bundles, so you have the War Chest, the Ultimate, the LT-432 Loaded, and then there's also one if you go down just the special offer, which is $31. And this is the bundle that I purchased. And actually, if you don't already know, you can go to Tank Rewards, tankrewards.com, and they have this Independence Month, which you can get based on the tiers that you can achieve. You can get a discount, like 10% off tier 1, 15% off tier 2. Tier 3 is 20%, right? And tier 4 you can get some, premium time or some equipment. And then the final tier you can get a free tier 7 premium tank, or if you want these other ones. But yeah, this is a great way to be able to get some premium tanks for free on your account. So all you have to do is complete certain missions. So every day, if you win one battle, you'll get 100 of these tokens. And if there's 30 days in a month, you can get 3,000, right? And so you'll be able to get almost up to tier 5. And if you play, you can get some other missions which are pretty easy, just like play games and win games and be like top 10 or whatever, and you'll easily get this tier 5 reward. And this is how I got a lot of my tier 6 and tier 7 premium tanks. So I just wanted to let you guys know that this is here, and all you have to do is just sign in and come in here and redeem them. So I actually was able to pick this tank up for a 20% discount. So this is something I would definitely recommend. Here we have the tank comparison for the LT-432, the LCTB, which is the normal tier 8 Soviet light tank, and then the other, I would say, best options that you guys have for premium light tanks. So you have the Hawk 30, the T92, the WZ-132, the M41 Walker Bulldog, or the Grand Final or Black Dog version, sorry, the EBR, and the Senlak. And so we can see here that as for DPM, it has the second highest DPM, following the Walker or the Black Dog here. And this is actually one of the strengths of this gun, or this tank, is the high DPM means you can definitely brawl with other light tanks, and you can get to key positions, and you can really be aggressive like I showed you in the first battle. The penetration is lackluster. It's third worst, which means that you really have to get the flanks of tanks, and I think it kind of teaches you how to play light tanks as well. You don't really want to be frontally brawling with heavily armored tanks, and this tank actually finds it difficult to be able to penetrate itself frontally. So just be aware of that. Make sure you face your frontal hull armor to the enemy when you're brawling. And 180 alpha damage is actually not that high. It's actually pretty low for this tier, seeing as a lot of mediums, as well as you have 3 light tanks that have 240 and above alpha damage, which means that you really have to be careful about trading, right? If you're only doing 180 and the enemy is doing 240, you should not be trading 1 for 1. You should be trying to trade 2 for 1, right? And the shell velocity is actually very nice on these APCR rounds, and that's kind of nice that APCR is standard. But unfortunately, the AP premium rounds on this tank are pretty bad, I would say, with only, I think it's 218 millimeters of penetration, which is like a normal heavy tank penetration, right? Or even less. So just be aware of that. And also be aware of that APCR loses penetration over distance. So be careful when you're sniping in this tank. The gun handling is actually really good on this tank. 0.36 dispersion is pretty standard of all the light tanks. and while moving, it's actually pretty good. Only the T-92 and the EBR have better dispersion while moving, and turning the turret and traversing the tank. So you can definitely clutch shot a lot with this tank, and it has a really good aim time of 1.92 seconds. Gun depression of 7 degrees is actually pretty good. It's not as good as obviously the 10 degrees that are on the American and the German tanks, or the Black Dog or the EBR, but 7 is still very good, and it's not like the WZ-132, which really hinders that tank's ability to be flexible, as well as the LTTB. The forward speed of 70 is amazing. You can get into positions very quickly, but also be aware that this has gotten me into trouble a lot. So just be careful of when you get into position, and be ready to run away if you have to. The weight, this is actually a pretty heavy tank. It's only lighter than the Hawk 30, so you can actually ram other light tanks. And I would say that this, combined with what you'll see next is in the armor, is this tank is a light tank killer, is how I would describe it. The terrain resistance is not that good, so it kind of gets balanced out there, where a lot of light tanks have better terrain resistance, but it does have better terrain resistance than the EBR. But that tank has the fast mode mechanics, so it's a little bit different. As for armor, 70 millimeters on the front and 40 on the sides is amazing, and it just blows pretty much every other tank besides the LTTB out of the water. And the turret armor is also very nice. And the thing is, though, I would say that the LT-432 has a better armor profile than the LTTB, because the LTTB, the front plates are very flat, and whereas the LT-432 is very streamlined. As well as, the good thing is it's not actually that short, right? The tracks actually like push it up a little bit more, so people generally aren't shooting down on your upper plate, right? And that's actually pretty nice with the armor. Next, we get to camo, and the LT-432 actually has really good camo. It has the second highest camo after the EBR, and sometimes the T-92 has better camo, like after firing, or I don't know why they have two after firing, but like after firing, the T-92 has better camo, but it does have the second highest camo, so that's a really good advantage to this tank, which means you can most likely outspot all the other light tanks. And although this depends a lot on the skill and the crew skills that you have on your tank, so just be taken to account that. And the view range is 380, which is unfortunate that it doesn't get 400, but it's way better than the EBR, who can't even get max view range. So with the right crew setup, and I think that it's because I don't have situational awareness, and I don't have 3 crew skills, right? I need one for Sixth Sense, and then I have another one for either situational awareness or the other view range perk. But if you get both, you can get max view range, as you'll see in the second replay. And radio range, that doesn't really matter. Fire chance, pretty low actually, but I will say that you actually do get set on fire a lot in this tank, just because the fuel tanks are, I think they're in the front of the tank or near the front, and every time I get shot in the sides, I get my fuel tanks get damaged, and I get set on fire a lot. So definitely carry an automatic fire extinguisher in this tank. Shell cost is actually pretty low, so you'll see that this tank is actually pretty profitable. So yeah, these are just the stats. So let's take a look at one gameplay of me playing, and then another gameplay of someone else who's way better than me playing. So I'll see you back in the first replay. All right, hey guys. So this is replay number 1, and I'm here in the LT-432, obviously, in a top tier game where half the team, or approximately half the team, is tier 8 and the other half is tier 7s. And sometimes what I like to do on Runeberg is actually go to this middle position I think this is a very important position, and I noticed that on the enemy team, they have an LT-432 as well, and he's got a pretty good win rate. So I want to prevent him from getting to this position and completely dominating our side of this map here in the field. So that's my plan. And we'll see here why, when you're in your top tier matchups, you can be very aggressive with this tank and be very successful. So there, the T-71 DA, I don't know what he's doing. Kind of driving incorrectly there. And now this LT-432 is kind of just getting caught out by both of us, so he's getting double teamed. And unfortunately, for the enemies, this T-34-100 couldn't help out his LT-432 in time, and so it was a 2v1 for most of that. And I finish off the T-34-100 on the enemy team, that Czechoslovakian tank. And here I apologize to the T-71 because I probably should have been trying to bounce that enemy LT-432 instead of him taking all the damage, seeing as I'm the top tier tank. But I didn't want to drive out in here because I would expose my flank to potentially all these mediums here. So now this Panther 2 is making an interesting play. I don't know why they're being so aggressive. I know you can definitely sit here and proxy spot, but unfortunately they're just turned their sides to me, and you can see here that the gun handling and accuracy of this tank is actually quite good here. Able to hit these weak spots on the Panther 2, or the flanks of these Panther 2 and the Charioteer, or Challenger, sorry. And we're able to take those two guys out and effectively win the battle already. And it's only been 2 minutes, right? We were able to dominate this side of the map and take out pretty much 6 tanks with the help of our T-71 friend and some of the mediums here. And so now I'm just trying to push the advantage here and get some more spotting here. So now I spot the Chiri, and unfortunately there's a Super Hellcat in the distance, and I take out the Lorraine, and unfortunately I eat another shot here by the Super Hellcat, and you see here he damaged my fuel tanks there because he shot me in the flank, right? And that's what I've noticed a lot, is your fuel tanks get damaged a lot in this tank. Kind of reminds me of like the Soviet mediums, like the Object 140 especially. That tank gets set on fire so much. You have to be a very brave soul to not run a fire extinguisher on that tank. So here I'm trying to be aggressive and spot the Super Hellcat, and I eat a shell there, but I know that my teammates will be able to finish off that Super Hellcat, and I'll be able to get more assistance damage here. So get some meaty, some juicy assistance there, and already get 2,700 damage and 1,700 spotting in like a 3-minute battle, right? And that kind of goes to show that if you're very aggressive in this tank in your top tier matchups, and you're very careful with how you use the spotting mechanics as well as your armor and just DPMing down the enemies, you can be very successful, right? So this was a 3.5-minute game, and that's it. So, okay, hey guys, here's the post-game stats. So this is a first class, and I've only managed to get a first class in this battle. Just kind of goes to show that everyone's doing amazingly in this tank. And we only get a tank sniper badge for this. This was 2,700 damage and 5 kills. And that's another thing, is it has high DPM as well as a small alpha damage, so you can get a lot of kills. So if you have any missions that you need to do kills on, this is definitely a great tank to pick up. And this was 1,281 base experience. And we shot 20 rounds, 18 direct hits, 17 penetrations, right? You can see that the accuracy is actually very nice, and partly because of RNG was on my side that game, but also because the gun stats on this tank are actually pretty nice. And about a third of it, or a little bit more than a third of it, was within 300 meters. So at the beginning, we were brawling against the enemy LT-432 as well as that T-34. So this tank is very versatile, I would say. And 250 blocked. Not a lot of people were shooting at me. Goes to show that, like, I guess tanks are intimidated by the armor in a sense, and they kind of just bounce magically. And I did 1700 assistance, right? Even without max view range. And in the next replay, you'll see another player with actually max view range, and that's just because they have more crew skills than I do. And although we had a mission, we made 120,000 credits. So even without this, we would have made 90,000 credits, right? In three and a half minutes, right? This is an amazing credit maker. So if that's something you really need, this tank is definitely one of the tanks I'd recommend. So let's take a look at the next game. Here's a second replay of Polysmack or Polysmack in his LT-432, and he's gonna show us an even better replay than the one that I had. And here he's a bottom tier tank in a tier 10 game here on Redshire. I would say Redshire is probably one of my favorite maps to play on as a medium or a light tank. So let me just make this map bigger for you guys. And I'm curious to see how he plays his LT-432, especially being a bottom tier tank. You definitely have to play. You can't play as aggressive as I did in my first replay. So let's see what he does here. He's trying to spot through here, but unfortunately he's not gonna be able to spot through these trees above here, and the EBR doesn't actually spot him. Wow. And he's definitely gonna spot him here. It's a good shot into the EBR. I like to go to a bush right here actually to spot early, because what you can do is you can spot through people on the hill, and you can also spot the heavies as they cross through this side. So that's what I like to do. I try to make my way into this riverbed. But Polysmack is electing to stay on his side of the hill here on Redshire. And now it's looking like a lot of their forces are going to this 9-0 line. Yep, see that Emil is spotted. And unfortunately, I think that was a poorly aimed shot. He probably should have aimed a little bit lower on the hull. But luckily, the heavies made it here quickly so they could spot these guys. But I think the heavy line's probably going to fall soon, just based on the numbers. And Poly is still trying to poke here. This EBR on the enemy team is doing a really good job of actively spotting for the enemy team, and it's limiting Poly's ability to push forward a little bit more. Now he's searching on a shot for this Skoda. And this tank has pretty good dispersion values, so you can definitely snapshot like right there. And he's not gonna go in yet, even though I think the EBR has definitely gotta go soon, because Poly is gonna need to be able to push up. And if this EBR is always running circles around him and keeping him lit, it's gonna prevent him from being able to do a spotting job. And there I don't think he waited long enough to get his gun depression down, so probably should have driven on this side of the ridge to give himself some more gun depression. And now Poly's gonna see if he can spot these two, since his heavies have pushed these two mediums. And they really have to think about either pushing or defending here, because that T-54E1 is gonna die very soon. Poly's being very aggressive here. Spots the artillery. One of the three artillery. Unfortunately shoots behind the tank there. And now the Barask and Poly are going after this EBR. And Poly takes him out. That's a very important kill right there. With the opposite number on the enemy team done, Poly can really affect this battle in a big way now, I think. So he's going back to defend, which is very smart. I would consider possibly going for artillery and trying to kill their 3 tier 9 arties. But that's just me. Because Poly's not going to go through that IS-7. And he's bounced every single shot so far, even though he's shooting premium. I don't really like the premiums being AP on this tank, and they don't really have that high penetration, which is probably the biggest weakness of this tank. But I feel like if you're fighting frontally against tanks that you can't penetrate, right, like higher tier mediums or heavies, you're playing the tank wrong, seeing as you have excellent mobility, a pretty good armor profile. But if you're fighting frontally against heavily armored tanks, you're probably doing it wrong. And there, Poly just took a minute to comment. One of his teammates was asking if there's a light tank on their team doing anything. So this I-7 is trying to make it onto this ridge to proxy spot. And the enemies kind of have the right idea to be aggressive and push their advantage. But the enemy team, or the allies, have built up a very nice defensive position between the hill and where Poly is at. They offer a pretty good crossfire on anyone who tries to push. So Poly's just trying to get assistance, and he doesn't shoot the Emil since he knows he'll get spotted. And I don't think he gets spotted. Yeah, he smartly goes behind the bush, so it's non-transparent, so he can shoot through it. And he probably would be better off shooting APCR here, not the premium AP. That was a chancy shot right there. Now he needs to really use these bushes or wait until he's behind the bush and shoot there. He probably could have shot there and not gotten spotted. Luckily, his artillery finishes off the low, but probably should have aimed at that turret when he was turned. Nice shot into the side of the AMX. Unfortunately, that shot bounces. And let's reassess here. T-30 is on a one shot. I would think about pushing that T-30. Yeah, I think that's what Poly's thinking about doing. Because worst case scenario, he eats a shot. But best case scenario, he takes out an important, powerful tank on the enemy team, right? And now he's going to have to get into this ditch before this AMX or the T-69 catches him out. And the T-69 is a 2-shot for Polysmack. So, and smartly, very well played for Polysmack here, being on full HP. He saved his HP for this endgame situation, so now he has more flexibility and ability to be aggressive at the end of the game and carry the situation. Now Poly's kind of showing off a little bit, saying he's top 5 on NA in this tank. And I mean, he has 2 marks on his gun barrel, so he's got to be a good player, right? And unfortunately, shot hits the dirt, and he gets stunned again, which is really unfortunate. And unfortunately, he's stunned. Wow, he hits the shot on the move, and that goes to show that the dispersion is quite good on this tank. And does a nice ring to kill that artillery. And now Poly's decided that he needs to go help out his team, seeing as that AMX is playing very aggressively and catches this T-28 off guard. And now he's just doing the typical light thing, Nice, aims for the track. He repairs. Unfortunately, doesn't penetrate that shot. And I think he's just gonna go for damage now. Nice, his RD stuns him. Unfortunately, his auto aim causes him to miss his shot. So Poly's just harassing this T-28. The T-28 really should just drive forward towards this house, right? And accept that he's gonna eat a couple shots and then get his butt to the house, and so he can turn around and prevent the T-28 or the LT-432 from circling him. So now it's just Poly and his E50M friend, who's on 800 HP, against a 1500 health Sturv and a 2-shot T-69. And as well as 2 artillery who haven't been spotted. So that leads me to believe that the artillery is probably in this location or probably over here. So what would I do in this situation? I know the Sturv is... Oh. My fault. The E50M is a 1-shot. He should probably be going for the T-69 right now. But I guess he thinks that the tier 10 is the most immediate threat. Unfortunately, doesn't penetrate the first shot. Gets the second shot. This is an important shot. Nice. Gets the kill shot. Now go for artillery is definitely the play. Very good decision there, and he's up to 3,300 damage, 2,000 assistance, and 5 kills. Amazing result so far for Polysmack. Showing off a lot of the strengths of this very mobile light tank. And Poly's actually running low on ammunition here. Interesting, he's not going to that corner. He's going this way. Maybe he thinks that the artillery relocated towards the STRV? Or maybe he thinks that STRV is gonna cap, so he doesn't have time. So let's see how Poly does this. He's still on full HP, which is a testament to his use of bushes, spotting mechanics, as well as flanking, right? Not giving his enemies any chances to shoot at him. Also, it helps that he's bottom tier, so he's not the top priority for the enemy. So it's most likely the Sturv that's in the cap. And Poly might not actually spot him through here. He's probably sitting in a bush. Interesting, Poly doesn't get spotted crossing there. And boom, there he goes. Penetrates the HE round. Very smart. And wow, the Sturv kind of messed up there by... Oh, Poly takes a lot of damage there. And now he has to get the side. Beautiful. The RD actually, well, did a lot of damage to Poly, but actually helped him out because the RD stunned the STRV. The STRV was slow to turn around and couldn't keep Poly in front of him, and allowed Poly to get the side and penetrate him. So a great result there, taking out the tier 10 Swedish tank destroyer. And Poly knew that he wouldn't be able to overmatch the frontal armor, so he knew that he needed to get that side of that tank. And that HE round, he was very lucky to penetrate that round as well. And he luckily didn't hit the tracks or anything, and it didn't get absorbed. But I think it might have tracked him anyways, but very smart use of ammunition there. And now he has 2 minutes to take out both of these full HP artilleries. And both of them are pretty good players. I mean, one's 1450 W8 and the other is 1800, so not bad players. So he needs to be careful here. Wow. That goes to show the max view range that he has. He must have an excellent crew on his tank. Seeing as I only have what do I have? 2 crew skills on my crew members on my tank, and I can't even get max view range, so He didn't see you, says E50M. And he's most likely not going to get spotted until like 200 meters or 300 meters, seeing as he has great camo for this tank. And I'm surprised he doesn't shoot HE here. And he has a minute now to find this 212A. I think those HE rounds would have done wonders against that M53, M55. So I don't know why Polysmack is being so very I don't know, cautious or slow. He only has 20 seconds, right? He's trying to get distance, which is smart. Wow, sets him on fire with an HE round. Very nice. And gets his 8th kill with like 8 seconds left on the battle. Amazing. 5,000 damage. 1,900 assistance. Let's take a look at these post-game stats. Alright, hey guys. Here's the post-game stats, and I realized when I first did the commentary that I had the wrong end plate, so I was very confused. So this is an ace tanker, and he gets a Bruta medal for killing 3 SPGs. Bradley Walters for 8 kills. The Yoshio Tamada's medal, which is destroy 2 SPGs in a light tank. I guess he gets both. An Orlix medal for killing 2 enemy tanks that are 1 tier higher in a light tank. High caliber and a top gun. This is 5,035 damage, 8 kills, and 1,937 base experience. Crazy. This Sturv had a really good game on the enemy team as well. Jesus. 48 shots fired, 41 hits, 28 penetrations. So you can see that the penetration definitely can be a letdown, especially when you're playing in a high tier game. And approximately half of his was from 300 meters or more, but he did a lot of close quarter flanking and brawling, so that's definitely one of the strengths of this tank. And he also got 1,900 assistance. And he does run 3 premium consumables. So he runs a large repair kit, a large med kit, and then food. So my setup is a small repair kit, small med kit, and then an automatic fire extinguisher. So definitely, if you can definitely make a hefty profit without spending this much on auto resupplying. But he did fire a lot of ammunition this game, so he still nets 31,000 credits, but potentially could have made more in almost 15-minute battle. So yeah, let's go take a look at the conclusions. All right, guys. So here's my final thoughts and conclusions. So I would rank the light tanks in the order of LT-432 and then EBR. And then that's it, right? I think that these 2 tanks are just head and shoulders above all the other light tanks that you guys have an option of buying. And I really do agree with that. It's really like the LT-432 and EBR are like up here and the rest of the tanks are like down here.
Hello darkness, my old friend.
And I would say that picking between the 2, you can't really go wrong. The EBR, just you kind of can just run around with your head cut off like a chicken. But I think that I just like the normal regular tank gameplay, and I just can't get into the habit of playing with the wheeled light tanks. So I can't reasonably or make a case for me spending $30 or $40 or whatever on buying the EBR unless you guys really want me to do a review on it. But I would definitely recommend the LT-432. And I would say for the other tanks, I would just base the pick off of what what crew training you need to do. I would say, like, if you're depending on what line you're going up on. So like if you're going up the Sheridan, get the T92, right? If you're going up the, I don't even know, the WZ, whatever the light tank is, get the WZ 132. And if you're going up the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen, which is probably the worst light tank or worst tank in the game, get the Bulldog or the Hawk, right? And if you're going up the British line, like if you're a masochist, then get the Senlac. So that's how I would base my decision off of. But ultimately, it's on how you like to play your tanks, right? If you like to run around and just do EBR stuff, then get an EBR. If you like a normal light tank and you want to go kill some EBRs, then take an LT-432. Since a lot of EBRs fire a lot of HE, since it's a really good ammo choice, but you can't pen an LT-432 easily with that HE round. So you can really go out and hunt some EBR. So hopefully that helps you guys make your decision. And let me know if you guys want me to do an EBR review. I'll have to wait until it gets on sale again in order to do that. Or any other tank reviews you guys want to see. So thank you guys for watching, and stay safe, or I'm out.